it's me again. I ordered stuff. I have that old clutch coaster that blew up on me a while ago. And I bought a few parts for it. Like I bought the needle bearings for it because those were definitely exploded and broken. And then it still didn't work. So I took it apart recently and saw what else was broken. So I ordered replacement parts so I can try and fix this wheel. The drag mechanism, the non-drive side bearing, the drive side bearing. I got a max slack spacer, so after I put this in that hub, it won't be adjustable anymore, slack, but less moving parts I feel like will be better. The new clutch cone, so I'm gonna be putting all of these into the hub and trying to get that working again just because I have a perfectly fine shell of a Freecoaster and no Freecoaster. And I also got more spokes. This will make sense in a second. I also got an Odyssey quadrant rim so that I can make a updated and newer version of my how to lace a wheel. So I have longer spokes now, and I'm gonna do, instead of a 3-cross video, I'm going to be making a 4-cross. So if you guys wanna build a stronger wheel, or just wanna watch me talk and touch bike parts, I'm here for that. I think right now though, I'm gonna go get redemption on my bar spin Manny tail lip. And then I'll have that clip in here. I'm about to walk you through how I fixed my clutch V2 coaster. There's gonna be different problems with your Freecoaster depending on what actually happened inside this hub. 2 things actually broke on my coaster. I'll tell you what to look for and where to get the parts to fix it at home if you don't want to take it to a bike shop. This might not be an easy walk around tutorial, but you can do this at home and maybe I can give you some tips that will help. I was experiencing a very loud dragging sound and not being able to disengage all the time and not being able to engage all the time. So I'd pedal forward and it would slip a little bit, and then as I pedaled forward it would be this terrible metal grinding sound of like I started taking the hub apart, and one of the first things you can do on the hub is take off the axle bolt on the drive side. Sorry, I threaded this in pretty deep. Once you take that out, you can actually see this collar that might not pop off by hand. Mine does because I just put this together with a ton of grease. But these are needle bearings, and this is needle bearings in a cage. So it sets on top of this little spacer, I guess. I noticed that all of mine were apart and that the cage was actually broken in half. So I knew that had to get replaced. My driver was not rolling smoothly, and I know that that was the metal like mashing together sound that I was hearing. So a long time ago, maybe 4 months ago or more, I bought the needle bearings. I put them in there and I put it all together, and it still would not work. It sounded better, but it still didn't work. So the other thing that I noticed when I just took this hub apart again a week ago is that the driver mechanism was cracked and there was pieces of plastic all inside the hub. So if you have a clutch and you have these issues, you can take it apart and easily find a diagram. I'll put mine up on screen, and I'll do it again later in this video, that I found, just to get an idea of what is actually inside this hub. My clutch drag mechanism was broken, so I went ahead and ordered a bunch of internal parts off of Full Factory. if you have the money, BSD Revolution hub. So you can get all these parts off of Full Factory's website, and you can make your Clutch V2 work again. I have it right here, all working, and right now I'll show you how I went about doing it. I went to Walmart and I got this snap ring plier set. One of the bearings is held in by a snap ring. That's the bearing that holds in all of the internals. Open up a little grease-free center, and I'll show you guys where I have my coaster at this point. So, I know you want that driver completely disengaged, and then you can thread it out. So I have the shell here. It has the bearings and everything inside as far as like mechanisms to actually make it free coast. The axle is out, the driver is out, and I'm pretty sure with the driver, the new needle bearings that I had put in it previously are still in there. This non-drive side is the one that has the snap ring bearings. So I'm gonna try real quick. Okay, I got the snap ring out. So when I was taking my axle out is when I noticed what other parts that I might have had broken. So this little white plastic piece was just sitting inside my hub. It's a piece from the drag mechanism, which would explain why the coaster was not working. Well, that worked perfectly. Now I can kind of assess the damage. The drag mechanism, which I see, and I'll try and show you, I don't know where it is, but the plastic chunk fit right in the spot near my thumb. If you guys were having problems with your clutch coaster, very well could be, if it was similar to what I was dealing with, what was going on with my drag mechanism. This is the adjustable engagement. If you can see the hole on the top there, that's how you'd unscrew it, and it would twist out and in so that you could put your engagement where you wanted. So I'm replacing this two-piece system here, a full slack spacer. So it won't have any adjustment anymore, but it'll be at what I was running it last time. So that's trash. I got the cone. So this is actually the piece that slides into the hub and grabs the inside of the hub. The very next thing I want to do, since I do have new grease, is clean off all of the parts that I am reusing and get all the old grease and dirt off of those. I'm not really worried about the driver since I put the new needle bearings in previously with new grease. So I can see there is like some plastic shards and whatnot on these parts, so I'm glad I'm cleaning them off. But there's my clean axle. Reasons of me being lazy, I'm not gonna put the new drive side bearing in there because I know this bearing is okay and that's not the problem, and I don't have to hammer it out of the shell. I just have to figure out the order that things go in. To do that, I'm gonna look at a diagram that I'll put up on screen right now. So the next step is, I believe, you set the driver back in, which I'm going to make sure I grease everything so that this is a nice working wheel. Grease my driver up more, especially since I'm taking it out and kind of touching it again and possibly moving grease around, maybe off of essential parts. So, driver, that's back in. Cool. Then the first new part I'm gonna put on is cone. Oh, I found that piece of plastic. It doesn't matter anymore. So this already has grease on the inside, brand new. This goes in and threads on so that the driver grabs it. This is fully engaged now. Cool. It'll probably feel nice having a brand new one of these. I want to make sure I get the order right on these, because otherwise it wouldn't be a Freecoaster, it'd just be a weird piece of metal. I know this is supposed to go on the flat part, is the right order. The spacer, which normally is like the 2-part one that's adjustable, but since I'm just using this one, is this. Spacer, this little metal piece. This piece, forget what it's called, so I'm sorry, that slides over the only flat part on the axle. My new non-drive side bearing, which I believe slides on this way. Yes. So just like that. And this is not a tutorial. So I'm gonna add a little bit of grease to this, make sure this is clean, and then get to the next step. I wanna make sure that there is no dirt or metal sitting where this new bearing is going to sit, because that would be annoying. Alright, so driver is tight with that piece. New grease for axle and these parts, and then I should be all good to slide this in there. I'm going to grease up my axle since I took all of the grease off of it. I'm also going to grease up the bearing so I have an easier time getting it in there. I'm also going to grease the inside of the hub where the bearing sits since I just took all of that grease off there. So now with this all threaded tight, I'm going to set this on there. So what I saw was that you can put this cone on here. You should be able to mallet this in. Okay, cool. Then you can take this cone off, and that's when the C-clip goes back in. The way I saw this done is that if you have a more rounded side on the C-clip, that side should go down first. Make sure it's sitting in the groove, snap it in place. Now I'm heavily considering working at a bike shop. So, because this is pretty fun. Set the needle bearings back in the driver, and now I have a fixed, brand new internals clutch V2 Freecoaster. Well, I actually feel pretty accomplished just making a Freecoaster, because I remember when I first got a Freecoaster, it made absolutely no sense to me. It works, and it feels smooth too. So, this is disengaged, and then pedal forward, max slack, now it's engaged. So now it will turn the hub with it. Cool, it feels solid, I'm pretty content. I just got these parts so that I could not waste a hub that I had sitting here that only needed a drag mechanism. So this is built, and next time I do a how-to video, it will be me teaching you guys how to do a 4-cross lacing pattern, and I'll build it with this hub, and when I'm done I will put this hub up with the laced up to the wheel as a complete Freecoaster wheel for sale. Other than that, subscribe, check out my riding videos, and you know, if there's any particular part of the video, I think it's really funny when you guys tag a time and then like something funny happens and you have a funny caption for it. If that happened in this video, then I mean, why not make my day? You know? Anyways guys, thanks for watching. I'm gonna clean my hands. Thanks.